Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Savvy. Here's myself, George, joined once more by Dave and Phil for a very fun discussion, a very last-minute discussion, and this is, of course, on the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer. Now, firstly, I'm going to begin with, may the 4th be with you, and all that jazz. And I'm also going to say, for anybody that's been around tonight, we had our massive gargantuan May the 4th ranking video up on the channel. If you have seen it, please do not comment because these two haven't seen it. And it's just come up. So don't rob anyone the chance of doing it. We've got Sam in the comments who I'm going to bring up very shortly, also on the Star Wars video. So please do check that out. But before I get into all, how are we both doing tonight?
Very well. Just come in from a crazy cinema showing of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is, I'm sure you'll probably have something about on your channel coming up soon, but just a crazy cinema experience. And that was awesome. So yeah, and now we get to talk Kenobi. What doesn't get much better than that?
Indeed. Another regular day, just enjoying May the 4th, celebrating as one should.
No, exactly. And that's what I want to kind of ask you guys. I know, it's a Wednesday here. We're not going to be around the bush. Has anyone done anything to celebrate May the 4th today? I know we've got this trailer, which we kind of assumed and knew would come, but anyone got any Star Wars stories to tell, or shall we get into all of this stuff?
Well,
yeah, I've done nothing yet.
The girlfriend hadn't seen Series 7 of Clone Wars, so I thought, why not? Perfect day to introduce it to her. Going through all of that, she'd have to see many manly tears be shed. I've not rewatched the last 4 episodes since last year, and I forgot how hard Order 66 hits, especially now with Bad Batch and everything else as well. It's like, oh, this just hits even harder now. But yes, no, perfect days to do it. And of course, then included with this awesome trailer, which,
Does May the 4th mark 2 years of Clone Wars finale? Did it, or did the series start on May the 4th? I can't remember. I feel that May the 4th
started on May the 4th. It started on May the 4th.
Right, and I haven't seen the Boba Fett stuff yet. But anyway, people in the comment section at home, please do comment your thoughts on Obi-Wan Kenobi, your thoughts on the trailer, your thoughts on the series. Are you hyped? Are you not? Surely you're not hyped. That would be disastrous for yourself, not for anyone else. So please do comment everything Obi-Wan Kenobi. We welcome everything here, as long as you're respectful, of course. And if you're new to the channel, you don't know what we do. Of course, we're a film channel, but we're in the middle. We're 4 days into a lovely, lovely Star Wars month. So we've got a lot of Star Wars stuff happening on the channel over the next few weeks. And the best way to find out about these videos about Star Wars month is getting us on social media. Twitter at cinema_savvy. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Also about Cinema Relay, Facebook and letterboxd.com/cinema savvy. Links to public in that description below. But as I said, we are here talking the trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm also going to say us three reunited for a video for the first trailer discussion back in March that came out. And did we all? I think at the time they'd said May 25th. Obviously it's now 27th. We're going to get it, but I think we all said that night we will get a trailer on May the 4th. I guarantee it. And here we are.
We did.
We have the trailer and the poster. And a very quick comment. We've got Sam as well. Can't stay on too long, but want to say, hey, excited for the show. Crazy thing gets so close until we see our old favourites on screen for a brand new story. 100% that, Sam. We spoke a lot about it on Twitter. I should have actually invited you on.
Is he talking about us there, or is he talking about Kenobi there, you see?
It's all of
me. Yeah.
What's the story taking us? We're going to bring in an Inquisitor somewhere, and everyone's going to cry about his face until the second trailer. But that being said, I don't even know how to segue into this. What we'll do what we did last time. We've got a very loose schedule that the three of us have between us, but we're going to play the trailer. We're going to share it on the screen. It will play the audio. We'll be allowed to talk over it or just at least watch it again, because this dropped at weirdly 10 to 2 UK time. Like I was at work. I was in the office today. I knew it was coming, and I always know Disney trailers come out at 2 p.m. So when it pops up at 1:50, it's like, what on earth is going on here? I didn't complain because obviously I watched
Someone
it.
was just too excited, basically. Just went, I hit the button now. Yes, now.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm going to do for everybody at home, I have the video to show you. So if people can give me a couple of seconds. I am in the process. Again, this has all been very last minute today. Me and David just got back from an incredible screening. And Kenobi isn't doing hello there because I can't find him on my desktop. There he is. For everybody at home, we are going to play the trailer now for you one last time. Oh, no, that's out of sync there.
They're coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive. When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father?
Line.
You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run, Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
Whew, okay. Now, I made a noise in that because we had a chat before about his chest plate, and I didn't realize it until then. I was like, there we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do we... I'm not going to bring the photos up yet. I just want everyone's consensus. We got a 1.5 minute trailer. We didn't get anything extended. Nothing 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Not revealing too much. Dave, I'll come to you first. How do you feel just as that as a trailer 3 weeks away? Has that done the right thing for you?
Absolutely could not be more excited. It gave us snippets of obviously the stuff we've had before, which is obviously they're going to do. It was a teaser, so we're going to see those things again. But the extra bit that it gave us, albeit probably maybe 15, 20 seconds, did everything to just pull me even further into the story. The Vader stuff, Owen and Kenobi stuff is just that the line about just like you did with his father is just heart-wrenching but brutal and amazing. So yeah, it's absolutely, I'm there. I'm absolutely there. I mean, this is my wheelhouse. This is my stuff, but yeah, I'm very excited with that.
And do you feel as well?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Yes, the extended, there wasn't much in the way of extended. A few bits here and there, like as Dave was saying with the Owen and Kenobi little back and forth there. Seeing more of the Grand Inquisitor in the light, actually a clearer image, which I will probably get into as we go along because it was a controversial thing after the first trailer. And yeah, with Vader, with the chest being plugged in, as we said, seeing new bits and pieces here and there. It's not a huge amount extra. I think at 1.5 minutes, it was the perfect length of here's what you need, but because we know this is highly anticipated, we don't want to give too much away. It was kind of that. Just enough new, just enough what we've had already to kind of grab you by, and bring you in.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say quickly as well, Hello, we've got Martin in the comments as well. We hope he's doing well. He did say he'll be tuning into this. The trailer for me was a big one because so many TV shows or films drop that final trailer just before the film comes out, and it's like 3 minutes long or it's 30 seconds long, and they'll name drop some important things which they really shouldn't do. Looking at you, Doctor Strange. Or they could do even worse, which is the TV spot after watching it very early. Plug Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness spoiler review on the channel now. I'm not going to say anything more because these two, I'm not going to ruin anything by saying if I liked it or even if I disliked it. So I'll plug that there very quickly. But yeah, heading into this one, it's always the worry. And I think with Star Wars, it's unavoidable. Some people can be like, I'm not going to watch it. I'm like, A, you're lying. B, or you're ill. For this, and this is it. And I feel really horrible saying this. So please, I really don't take this the wrong way. We've all loved the Star Wars prequels, but I saw a tweet from someone. It might have been Sam, it might not be, but somebody put this series is going to be the Force Awakens for the prequel generation, and that kind of hit me in the feels because obviously it's not a 30-year gap, so I'm going to say that right away. But I understand the comparison of someone's coming back. We didn't think we'd see them again. We think the story was done, but it's happening 17 years later this time. Okay, not 32. And it kind of really hit me hard reading that because I did sit there and think, okay, my hype isn't parallel to episode 7. I'm going to say that right away. Nothing will probably ever compare for that for me. That's my Phantom Menace, for what Phantom Menace hype was to a lot of others. But the hype for this is just extraordinary, isn't it? And full credit to Disney for the marketing campaign for this. They haven't even had to market it much because they don't need to sell it. No. Every single person is going to watch it because Ewan McGregor is playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. but going into this trailer, let's bring up a couple of the stills now. So I'm just going to bring them back up for us at home. So if anyone was familiar with what we did last time, I've took a few stills from the trailer. Now I'm not going to dissect it frame by frame, but I have picked some specific ones out that we'll go through as a trio. Anything else I've missed, of course, YouTube, please bring it up. We'll chat about it. I think the main thing will be Uncloin, which we'll get to speak about. But let's kickstart with Grand Inquisitor, which has been the big debate for the last few months, hasn't it?
It has.
Star Wars fans not liking something to do with Star Wars. No, listen, the Grand Inquisitor debacle is fascinating because I'm kind of I understand both sides to it.
Yeah.
What certain people don't understand is that you can't have that Episode 3 design in a practical action with an actor beneath it. I mean, no one can tell you.
What I think personally, if we didn't have Episode 3 in terms of, we didn't have, I can't remember the species off the top of my head, that species in Episode 3, I think this would have been fine. Like from Rebels into Kenobi, I think we would have been absolutely fine because it's kind of a similar look as they can get to. The problem is because you've had Episode 3 and then you've had Rebels, it is kind of that more streamlined look. That's where the controversy, or for some people, comes from because they have an expectation. I think it's because of that expectation that this has had that point. Because if you look at it purely from a Rebels to live action standpoint, I actually think it's absolutely fine. But it's because of that Episode 3 kind of mind trick, I think, basically.
Dave?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, just that picture there, that's still there, sells the Inquisitors so much better than I think the first trailer did in the way it's lit. I think having him in a broad lit street like that comes across much better. And yes, I get why they looked at it and said, well, from Utapau you saw him and they had this massive shaped head, and I don't know, maybe they could have gone down that route. They've changed him for a reason, and I'm sure it'll come out to say why the design is different.
Well, I agree with George. I think it's similar to what Rosario Dawson had to have with the Leku and the Montreal, for Ahsoka. It's that more practical way of shooting. But either way, I think, as you said, the lighting does suit them better. Fifth Brother looks better as well in terms of where you had that one shot in the darkness. He now looks a lot more. Yeah, it just looked better in the light.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It wasn't an odd trailer choice for last one because it was the whole spinning blade as well, so you get a glimpse into what they did. But that walking shot there sells all three of them a lot better than I thought. And the fascinating thing with Rebels is, I know we had this chat last time around, but I'll say it again, is that sorry, it's so ridiculous you have to say it, but you can't copy a cartoon Clone Wars animation style / Rebels style into live action. And I don't know if you've both seen it, but someone will complain about this design, and then someone will put up the photo of Christopher Lee where they like pull his face down to look like the Clone Wars Count Dooku. Yeah. And again, there's a conversation to be had. Could they improve some things? Maybe, but we'll need to see it on the series first. But to me, this trailer, that looks intimidating. That sells the scene. That sells exactly what we need from the three of them. And that's sort of given me my curiosity for this. And I know that Rupert Friend is playing him, who is an established actor, done a lot of theatre work, British, which is very important for these. And of course, he's done a lot of TV stuff. So at the same time, you don't want to lock a good actor under makeup, not to disrespect prosthetics. But if this is going to be a practical role, which I assume it... Actually, here's a good question. Let me pose this to you guys. How do we feel about the Inquisitor? I don't think we're going to get much of Grand Inquisitor, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. I think he's still, to me, the Rebels big bad. It doesn't make sense for him to be pursuing Kenobi. I think all of it will be Reva until we get Vader.
It seems to point out that way in the trailer as well, that yes, he's going to be in charge. I think he might be the guy who's maybe taken an order from Vader and then has passed out the orders to his General Inquisitors. But because he plays such a big role in Rebels, I think it's tough to look like you can't go out there and fight Kenobi and then again over 6 episodes just lose every fight he has. So I think it's very much going to be. I still think what we're seeing now is probably first episode, maybe touching the second. I don't think we've seen anything past that, to be honest with you. Maybe the Vader stuff might come a little bit later, but other than that, I think we're seeing very early part of the series.
Yeah, and to sort of segue.
The only thing with the Grand Inquisitor being that big bad, he's the big bad for series 1 of Rebels, because then of course Vader, then it's Thrawn going on for the last to slash Palpatine. But I think that this will set him up nicely to then be that big bad. So even if he doesn't play a huge role in Kenobi, it'll give you that little bit of extra backstory between him being a guard into being a Temple guard into being the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, definitely. Before I move on, I'm just going to quickly bring up Sam's comment. It wasn't Sam's tweet, but his hype for the Force Awakens, it wasn't saying, but his personal hype is at an all-time high. Lovely Bond reference in there as well. I understand that. I need to find whoever did send that tweet because I keep stealing it and using it, and I need to know who I need some credit for that. Martin, what do you think about the show being only 6 episodes? Oh, we'll discuss that at the end. I think that's going to be a fun mini conversation, but we're going to stick to Tatooine. We'll talk about the big thing for me. Uncle Owen, Joel Edgerton back. Couple of lines, but this is the selling point for me of this trailer. I think, I don't know if we spoke last time, but certainly I built up. If Joel Edgerton's coming back, we need to see why Uncle Owen has no time for Obi-Wan by the time he gets to the start of A New Hope. I know you don't have to fill in every blank. I don't need the two of them on an adventure, but the conversation.
2-minute conversation.
Yeah, and I think it might be a bit more than that. You know, if he's this guy that keeps like looking on his nephew and watching from afar, I think.
Out of the bushes with his binoculars, like, what's he doing again?
We've got the Homer Simpson and going back into
Just
the cave.
swapping out the Gillet Rose for a trench coat.
Yeah, and this is what I think is interesting is their relationship. I don't know if we'll get much of Aunt Beru. I guess now's a better time. They need to plug the fact that Aunt Beru bagged herself her first ever Lego minifigure this week for Lego Star Wars Week. I don't know anyone saw that coming, and in turn, Uncle Owen's now worth over like £100, which is also insane. That's for you Lego fans out there. But what did you all think about this? Because we obviously got the comment about like how you trained. Did he say my brother or did he say?
No,
Anakin?
he says his father. How he trained his father.
Because
I
it
think
always made me laugh. Sorry.
No. I was saying what's really interesting to me is sort of the juxtaposition of this to Luke. This is Obi-Wan to sit like we have to train Luke when he's the right age. We have to train him, and like that older Luke that we met who was just really like, no, the Jedi have got to end. They've got to go away. At this point, they technically have, and Kenobi desperate to bring them back, and Luke further down the line desperate for them to just no longer exist. I think it's a really nice play. I think the way Uncle Ben is played, he's got much more of a gruff voice. He sounds a lot more like him in this trailer as well. I thought it played really nicely, but that line of just like, look, the way you trained his father is just like, it's so brutal, but it's absolutely how a protector of a boy he's raised since a baby would see him. He met Anakin, he knew he knows what happens, he knows the full story, so I think it's really nicely played.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up is he knows exactly what happened from Anakin to Vader. He knows the downside of it. He also, though, don't forget, he actually saw Anakin when he came back from the Tuskens. He saw
murdering
what
some
happened.
people.
Exactly. So he saw Anakin when we didn't on screen. He saw him come back, be in that state of agony where he'd seen his mother die in front of him. He had slaughtered the Sand People, and then he'd seen that anger and that hate and saw how it had gone wrong. And then, of course, we know what happened with the Empire and everything else. So he is feeling that very protective. And also, as you said, any father figure, he is going to be protective, and he knows what could go wrong for Luke and doesn't want that for him.
Yeah, and I think that is the key of this, is that you've got to... It's not the focal point in this. I mean, we don't really know what the focal point of the series is. We can assume it's Kenobi, but I think Joel Edgerton might crop up in maybe beginning and the end. I think he'll be a very important thing. We've got other characters I think are going to play into it, but I'm not going to sit here and theorize. We're going to do a predictions video at some point on this channel before it comes out, but I think Edgerton's going to be key for this. And it's nice to see him back. It's that prequel continuity, and some of the highlights of Mando and Boba Fett has been, they've been on Tatooine far too long, but when the dogs from the Tusken Raiders popped up in Mandalorian season 2, and you're like, it's the Attack of the Clones dogs. And it's like they're actually acknowledging, and I understand why they didn't 7 years ago.
And then, of course, in Mandalorian season 3, Book of Boba Fett, we actually had proper clone suits as well, finally, after 20 years. So, again, that's a lovely connection. Yeah,
and it's just nice to see these things being accepted. And maybe, if we're going to get flashbacks in this, that's always the big question, isn't it? We're bound to get them in live action and a few more things other than that. But if we move away from Tatooine, we always have to at some point. Let's talk... it's not the best shot, but we've got the Inquisitors here. Now, what I was curious by, again, without sort of theorizing too much, the one on the far left, I don't know if that's meant to be the one from Rebel Season 2, but I just love the fact we're still getting Imperial stuff. And also
think
their
it's
base
Seven
looks quite
Sister.
cool.
Is it not the ninth?
It's hard to tell.
No,
can't-
Seventh Sister is what we had in. No, Ninth Sister is the
Which
one
is
we
Buffy.
had in.
Yeah,
Seventh
Sarah
Sister is
Michelle Gellar's
Buffy.
character.
Ninth Sister is one we had in Fallen Order.
Okay, well, this one, well, really interesting. Sorry to segue. Disney announced the official timeline today, and this shouldn't really cross into it, but this is now set after Solo. Now, I know they're both 10 years after Episode 3, and it's not going to have any meaning. We're not going to get Donald Glover pop up. I hope not. And I love Donald Glover, just not for this show. But that was interesting because all those placement things, they will build up to something. And Fallen Order's the big question mark. I think Chris Ryan from Braxton tweet saying he would love a name drop of Cal Kestis or something with the Inquisitors there, because is it about 10 years after Episode 3 it's set, Fallen Order? Was it about 10 years, 8-10 years or something? He could be alive and kicking. Yeah. And we'll get to speak about some Jedi a little later on. But Phil, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I know you're not trained in the language. Any guesses to what this means in Arabesh?
First one is Obi-Wan. So top line is Obi-Wan, and then its second line is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then underneath it is reward for, and then I don't know the rest.
Oh, look at that!
I'm glad to put you on the spot, but
Right.
absolute legend. He's come back with just like it's like Moon Knight, just got all this ancient. I mean, it's just in the fire, no spoilers, please. But
It's
this, I don't know why this has been my favorite shot of the trailer. I think it's because it's his Episode 3 costume, isn't it? Like,
to be honest, I'm quite shocked at how.
Sorry, top line's wanted. Second line is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sorry, top line's wanted. There we go. Maybe kick in eventually. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, I'm quite shocked at how much they know Obi-Wan is definitely alive. Like, it's a definite thing. Not that he was gunned down by the clones, that he got off.
Vader's like accidentally fell into the lava. It definitely wasn't Saul.
Yeah, it's just the fact that it's well known that he's out there and is thriving, is that they're really looking for him. I think it's like, oh, okay, they're fully aware that Kenobi's still out there and they really are looking at hunting him. So yeah, that kind of took me by surprise. But I love that it's just a picture that they've taken from some Jedi archive somewhere of him in his Episode 3 pass that he needed to get in to the temple.
Yeah.
It's just like it is.
Temple passport. Yeah.
It's just, I think it stands out so much because of that. And it's what you said.
It's his library card from Jocasta New took that photo.
So, you got a new haircut for the second part of the Clone Wars, have you? And just get this snapped. Yeah. Maybe he's got like a portrait collection of all his different haircuts.
Maybe he's the horrible bit for Rocco Hardimi. He had to lose all of his hair. Like, there you go. This is the before. I swear, this is still me.
It's just got like a photo book. Dependent on Fallen Order 2, potential for insights into more of that story, or at least a reference or two. Very interesting. Be good if you saw the Jedi wanted most of these. Yeah. Wow, we'll get to that because I've got theories and I've read things. Not spoilers. I've read also other theories. But that theorizing too much. But literally, lovely in the passport shot. Imagine if you and McGregor, I'd make that my passport photo. You could get away with that. 100%.
I would love it.
Totally.
On that point, though, I would love it if they had a wanted thing for Luminara Unduli, because of course you do see her in Rebels as that bait for Kanan. Even if it's just literally just a picture, it would just be a nice little kind of connector piece there.
It could be a montage like here's all the missing Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny. There'd be so much potential. There's going to be memes. But I have to bring this up now.
Full on.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Because I saw that and I thought, is that Forlom? Like everyone else is tweeting about Kenobi. I was like, is that Forlom? Like we're actually going to see him do so. It's obviously going to fail because everyone Kenobi's alive. So I don't know how we got into Darth Vader's bridge in Episode 5, but. Listen, I don't think this is a cameo. I'm loving the fact that we're going to get a bounty hunter in it, but I just saw that. I was like, okay, Forlom sounded like a good spot. One of my friends was texting me, says, "Yeah, is there any Easter eggs?" I was like, I wouldn't say an Easter egg as such, but I noticed Forlom. I was like, he's a bounty hunter on the bridge. He's like, that's a deep. I was like, yeah, I did think so. I'm surprised I noticed him because he does look different there. Maybe because it's nighttime.
Yeah. But I saw
anyone
that
I like the
immediately
fact
was
they
like,
are.
full on.
Yeah, that they put out this thing for like a call for every bounty hunter to go after him. Like, just get the people you can find and just literally like a rat try and draw them out. I think it's gonna be great to see if we get full on what other bounty hunters we may well see as well.
Ooh, not Daniel Logan. I'm joking. We could. Be like, you ruined my life. If he didn't come to that door that day, they'd all be living. There'd be no Clone Wars. Moving on though, listen, I'm going to bring this up because we almost had the Krennic mobile. It's just missing its third fin at the top. So like maybe I'll call it the prototype. Is this the Inquisitorius thing, Phil? This is more for you. I don't know if this was in the last trailer, but I just wanted to bring this up. Obviously, we're going to get the base, which I think is quite cool. I've not got anything to say on that, but I want to get to the next one because I think, going off Sam's comment, do we have a look at our first Jedi Knight? What are both your thoughts on this?
I mean,
had
I
no
love
thoughts.
Kamala. Yeah, I think it definitely looks to be in a Jedi robe, but whether that's, I mean, it's hard to tell if that's what he's playing, but it would certainly seem if they're going to be hunting Obi-Wan that it'd be strange to not have any of the Jedi getting caught by the Inquisitors throughout the series. I think it's important that we see that they don't just fail at every attempt. Like, if they send out the Inquisitors, they have to capture somebody to show they've got some danger about them. So I definitely think we'll see some Jedi round up, and I think Kamal might be playing one of those Jedi who is at least captured at some point.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can agree with that. I had no thoughts watching it because I couldn't tell. And again, I thought the same thing. It could be a Jedi Knight of some kind, but I kind of left it that because I was too blown away by the rest of the trailer to kind of have my mind linger too much.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Dave. When Kamal popped up, because he was in the casting session, I was like, oh, like, not that something horrible, like, because I think he's in a lot of comedic roles. I was like, oh, like, not he'll be comedy relief, but could he be a, like, not a Gungan, but could he be like a comedy character, a droid, or a support act? And it's like, oh, like, so this was like, okay, Jedi, we've got a comment from Sam, and I'm the same here. I'm 99% sure he's Jedi, he's going to get killed, or he'll be a fake and is in disguise. That's, I think, the logic I'll have towards anyone. The interesting one's Benny Safdie, who's in this series as well. I think he's in the trailer one, the back of him with Reva got the lightsaber out in Tatooine. But I'm very curious because I've said this before, and this is my psychotic side taken over. Too many Jedi have survived Order 66, but for a series like this, because we've got to think, like, we've seen Rebels, we've played Fallen Order, there'll be people watching this show, prime example would be my dad, and they're going to be like, what's an Inquisitor? What do they do? What's the purpose of them? A really smart way to bring them in will be literally just have the concept, they hunt Jedi, and you can get away with... Listen, I'd love Kamal to be alive, but not too many Jedi post Order 66, and I don't imagine there being any other Jedi other than Kenobi in this show, if I'm being really obvious. There was a lot of people joking, saying that he could have been playing, oh my god, I've forgotten his name, Anakin's best friend from The Phantom Menace.
Oh, Kit.
There were people saying, like, there were
Western.
people saying that the aging of where they are in this series, it actually, like, 23 years later, Kamal's a couple of years older. People were saying
I am going to lose my mind.
I think we'll all lose our minds at his Kitster.
It's just, I saw that ages ago. It's just funny, and I was like, okay, I don't think he'll be Kitster, but if he is, it was like Obi-Wan just hanging out on Tatooine, and it's like this kid is like, my friend left 20 years ago. I don't know what's happened to Obi-Wan. Gives him this look like, oh shit.
His leg like this.
Yeah, I picked up Kitster after the Phantom Menace. It would explain a lot. Listen, I see why I can say they wouldn't even save his mum. Like, they're not even Jedi, aren't even like anti-slavery. It's just we're anti it as long as we can get one out of it, not all of them. That's my political stance on that. And then we've got this thing here. Listen, this isn't important. This is a droid. I like droids. I like seeing this. My only question is, I reckon this is probably practical, not CGI. But
Definitely.
that looks like it's in the hand of an Inquisitor rather than a potential Jedi. So I've got nothing more to say on that. I'm just going to swiftly move on. And again, we've got another one. Again, the fifth brother here. The one on the left, I mean, I know she's yellow, and that's not really narrowed down the races in Star Wars. But I don't think that'll be Buffy from...
No, that's not
Rebels.
Sunny Sister.
And I'm curious again, if we're going to get new Inquisitors, is Kenobi going to kill one, or is one of them going to die? Because
Yeah, I think so.
It would make sense to lose an Inquisitor. You've got to have some
Yeah.
threat level. Like it can't just
I
be like
don't-
we're all like like the A team used to be in the old days where they had bombs and grenades thrown at each other, but no one ever got hurt in the show. I think now we need to see this. There is some threat from either Kenobi towards those Inquisitors or those Inquisitors towards actual people.
Well, don't forget, we had the line in episode 4 of the last time we met. I was but the learner, now I'm the master. Is Kenobi still has more? Is going to have that little bit more power than he does by the time he gets to episode 4. He's that bit more decrepit, so it makes sense for him to be a bit more of a legitimate threat by the time you're only 10 years removed.
And if Vader's been handing out his dirty work to other people, he hasn't really done much. He's just mellowing on Mustafar.
That and he hates the Inquisitors
line's going to
anyway.
have so much more meaning after we see this series, because I think their final meeting will be this episode 6 of this show, and then A New Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is kind of, I mean, let's do it. I've only got one photo from the chest plate. There's nothing else needs to be said. I think we all knew this moment. Now that we've seen Vader
The
in
line
marketing,
before this, though, that you can't run from him, and
Exactly.
then the Vader stuff was just, that was the moment of the trailer that just completely
River's
unlocked that.
toast. She's either good. I back everything that she would die in this, because I know it's boring and it's a prequel in theory, but any Inquisitor we haven't seen in Rebels is probably going to die in this. I think that's a very safe way to look at the Inquisitors, because we don't know how many brothers and sisters there really were. And they can just keep doing. And they started off with long numbers. It wasn't brother 1, brother 2. They just whacked out long numbers straight away.
Yeah.
Vader got bored after a while. Inquisitor 16, I don't know, brother.
Vader hated the Inquisitors, like with an absolute burning passion, because he saw them as the Emperor trying to replace him. So
Maybe we'll get that in this.
Put them against each other, even cut a few of their limbs off as well to go, look, I am better than you. Sorry, just no, this is how this is. If you're on my team, you have to lose a limb. That's just how this works.
Can we talk about this chess piece? Because
we can.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
before we came live, when I saw this trailer, I've always seen that chess piece. I'm 43 years old. I've watched Star Wars so many times. For me, that was always just on his suit. Yes, I knew it's part of it's an iron lung suit, but the mask is sort of what's keeping him alive. I never, for the life of me, knew that chess piece had pieces that plug into his body, and it was like a what? Like something like this is Darth Vader, and I've learned something new today about Darth Vader that I didn't know about his suit, and I was literally open mouth shocked when it happened. That I watched it a couple of times, see did it that? Yeah, it did.
That is a different chess piece. Funny enough, just looking at it.
I don't know that.
Different.
It is a dark shot though, so it he's in steam. He's probably just come out of his bath.
I think, well, to be fair, I think this might.
Oil baths are so good.
Having a quick little double check. This is. This is the episode 4 version, because episode 5 he has a different chest plate. So this would make sense.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Episode 4 he hasn't got. Episode 4 has not got a shiny polished helmet, which is what I always noticed as a kid. He's in episode 5. And he hasn't just got a banging theme, he's got a shiny hair as well. Quick comment from Sam, same thing. I thought the mechanical arm twist on Vader was insane. Reva could have a similar fate to Triller. This is what I think. If again, it comes down to that general audience. General audience might not play Fallen Order. I think a lot of people will have, obviously, that are fans. But I wouldn't if we're going to get this introduced, this new evil villain, this horrible, hateful Inquisitor, I would hate for her to not turn good, but Triller's death in Fallen Order is, she's conflicted from the get-go. You learn her history and you know what will happen, and it made sense that she got killed by Vader. Whereas if we're going to get again this outright Inquisitor, what I would love is not just for Vader to kill her, because that sounds horrible. If she's so twisted, she tries it on him as well. I'm really curious to see how the Inquisitor paints. Again, that's theorizing too much, because the core of this is still going to be Kenobi versus Vader, but you've got to have your villains in place to then reach a point where Vader has to, get involved. It's like Thanos, isn't it? I'll do it by myself. But a line I loved is when I can't remember word for word, but they hint at that they've been searching. They hint that Vader's been searching for Kenobi for ages as well, not just them. Vader's been doing it. And what I love the idea of is that we're going to get this, Vader's probably going to look at him and think he'll probably blame Kenobi for Padme's death. I'd bet that on everything. And we'll get this, look what you've turned me into type thing. I'm very curious to see how Vader is, because although it is 10 years in, I don't think it's going to be the same Vader we have by the time we get to Rogue One and A New Hope. Anything else?
It still just blows my mind that I'm looking at the picture again, just thinking we're going to get new Vader soon, and it just blows my mind.
Yep.
And in TV, who'd have ever thought we'd get Darth Vader on a TV series that wasn't cartoon? Not to disrespect cartoons, but Rogue One. Do you remember that trailer of him breathing in the back of the head? And that was like, oh my god! Like,
do you remember the one we
Vader?
saw at Celebration? The shot of Vader that was never released.
It was at the table, wasn't it? The trailer, you can get the leaked trailer somewhere. But I mean, that film, you've got the original. Didn't they had to re-edit his hallway scene for being too violent, for too aggressive, and then he was going to be the one to kill Krennic as well. Obviously, would have been poetic to what led previously. But it is going to be exciting seeing that. We've got Martin saying, "I've got a dark side I didn't know I had." Probably a good way to get out of the system, talking Star Wars, but not too dark. And then Sam, he has to be a little less controlled, more mannequin persona in fighting, and that's what I'm kind of like. If he's going to be not rusty for a pun, but if he hasn't had to do anything for a while, like I don't expect him to. And we're going to just segue into this shot here. One of my favorite shots of the trailer is this Obi-Wan seeing Vader for the first time. It's edited that way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's certainly put out in the trailer that's what he's laying eyes on. We know what Star Wars trailers like. Most of them are lies. But certainly the way that's edited, that if it is, it's perfect. He looks... just look at Obi-Wan Kenobi on screen, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. He's back. It makes me very happy. But yeah, it's perfectly lined up for him to be the first time we're seeing Vader.
Phil?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much exactly the same. It's also it's going back to actually what Dave said, like right back at the beginning, with the fact you have him doing that kind of like gruffer voice as well. It's kind of bridging the gap, and it's all these little pieces, just piece by piece by piece, we're getting from the prequels to the original trilogy, and from Hugh McGregor to Sir Alec Guinness. It's just little pieces, and it is exciting to see him back. It's to the point sometimes I'm just like, no, why is it not the 27th now?
It's when
one day is going to be awesome as well.
It's when we got the dialogue. I was like, oh my god, like we're getting, because obviously we've had the memes for so long, we've had the shots of everything. I was like, he had the accent. I was like, oh my god, like I'm hearing, forget seeing him, I'm hearing new dialogue, and I think that means more than seeing, because when you see the face, yes, it's cool, but there's been a gazillion photoshops over the years, but to get the voice back, knowing it's Ewan, it's overly posh British accent as well. It's fantastic. And it's just that was the goosebumps hit with the Vader scene, of course, and it's just propelled this hype in. And what I kind of want to move on to, I know we spoke about the trailer. As we said, I think it's doing a fine job at marketing this show without giving anything away. I still don't know why he's leaving Tatooine. I don't know what he's got to leave Tatooine for, and all the other stuff. We know tidbits by the fact that he will confront Vader. He'll confront not Ewan McGregor. He'll confront the Inquisitors, but. Here's a really good comment from Martin earlier. Now, I've actually had some friends message me from work about this as well. What do we think about the show being 6 episodes? I know it's a mini-series, not season 2. We won't get any of that. I am absolutely fine with 6 episodes. If I'm being completely blunt, I don't want more than 6 for Kenobi, because it's the return. And to me, not that it should be a film. I'd love a film. But we're lucky that we're getting 6 episodes, which might pad out at like 3-4 hours. Similar to Moon Knight, if anyone's seen that. I think most of the average episode was like 50 minutes each. So you had under an hour, whereas obviously stuff like Mando fluctuates between like 30 minutes, 50 minutes, 40. I think we're going to get 6 sort of 45, 50-minute episodes. And I think it will be enough, as long as, I think that's enough time to tell this story, which looks like man on Tatooine, lonely, depressed, leaves Tatooine for something, meets Darth Vader, goes back to Tatooine. I think 6 episodes will cover that.
Yeah, agreed. I don't want any filler either. I want it to be story. That's all I want. I think if you do 6 well written with a little bit of padding here and there to kind of bridge it to make it that that entire 6 episodes of 50 minutes, 45 minutes average be perfect, because 2 words too many, 2 words too few. It's a little. You can easily overdo it, and I don't want them to overdo it with Kenobi. This is something we've all been waiting for. It has to be done right.
I think, yeah, we're going to get, as long as we get to say the confrontation we all expect, we get to learn what's going on with Luke, and we get to see also what's happening in the galaxy now the Empire really start to take a hold. I think they just show us a little bits of that. And you know what? I don't think 6 episodes is going to be, I think it's going to be just a nice sort of, you're back, here's what you get, here's your taster, and that's all you're getting. Now go watch episode 4 to continue on with the story. I think it's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be, I'm praying for, my hype level is too high. I can only be disappointed by the show, but I'm praying, and I don't think I will be. I think it's going to be epic.
Yeah, and quick comment by Sam, Obi-Wan needs to Tatooine, and this is the only option for him to leave, so I'm fine at this being limited. Got to be grateful. I think that's the best thing. Got to be grateful for what we're getting.
Yep.
Again, the fact that he's coming back and we're getting a story with him, the fact we're getting Vader in the story, we're getting other characters. Listen, I'd take 6 hours of him in a hut being depressed, reminiscing about his old life. But, if the story's good, I'll be there. And I know Ewan's made offhand comments. So, yeah, I'd love to come back again. Listen, he's on a PR run, and we know he means it, but he also is an actor, and he will know as well this is a one and done. And I think he'll know as well, this is, it's him coming back.
I think he's very happy he got his one and done return, though.
Exactly. And I think, whereas we've got Hayden, who we know is going to be in Ahsoka. So I don't know if anyone's seen the interviews where Ewan's like, oh, I rewatched the prequels the first ever time since they came out, and I really enjoyed them. Hayden's like, I watched the entirety of the Clone Wars. And I'm like, and then he says that, I think Matt Lanter spoke about it as well, talking about how the character of Anakin evolved and everything, and it's really fascinating. So I'd advise everyone to go out, read those interviews with Hayden and Matt Lanter. I know they met at Celebration a few years ago for the first time.
Yeah,
they did a photo op, which is really cool. So yeah, the hype is there. And final thing I want to just add to this, so we're kind of rounding off. We're not gonna milk this for milking it. Well, obviously we know John Williams is doing the main theme, which we're excited about. Understatement of the year. What do you both think to Natalie Holt on the soundtrack? I know we spoke about this on our chat group anyway, but now we have the official composer confirmed. I'd love to know from both of you what you think, or if you're familiar with her work.
I'm not overly familiar with what she's done so far, to be totally honest with you, so it's going to be fairly new to me. I mean, what we've had in the trailer so far are classic themes. Even in today's trailer, it's very under the radar of, again, themes that we've had previously. So I'm interested to see once we get an actual episode, because we're in that classic saga era, which are full-on orchestral scores. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays right throughout an episode. So I think I can't judge anything yet until I've heard the first episode to see what we get.
Yeah, no,
Phil?
agreed. I'm not overly familiar either, but I'm okay with that going into it just to see what it's going to be like. I don't want to have too much influence actually over that part of it. Knowing that John Williams is doing the main theme, you have faith there. The rest of it is let's see, because Olivia Gorrington's done an amazing job, as we already know. You've got people's different takes. This is going to be her take on the Star Wars musical world, and I want to see what it's like. So I actually haven't done that much research into her other stuff, because I want to go into it with fresh ears as well as fresh eyes.
I mean, the main thing I'll say is that she's in Loki. I think that's what she's most known for at the moment,
Yes.
which I think was a very good score. Very different. It won't be anything like this, but it worked for what Loki was as a series. And another fun fact is that she was famously on Britain's Got Talent once, that she was in the orchestra, and she came out and threw tomatoes unscripted at Simon Cowell. So if that isn't legend status,
it's all the win. Yeah,
exactly. That's a bit of background. So that is Natalie Holt, and we've got Deborah Chow, a female director, doing the entire series, which I think, listen, I love them showing directors on Mando, but when someone's had this impact on Mando, absolutely give them a film, give them a mini series. I understand splitting a season that could be multiple seasons. So got a female director, a female composer, a female producer, Kathleen Kennedy. And it's fantastic, and some people will scream and cry. However, I'm going to quickly go over the comments. Sam remembers about what happened on Britain's Got Talent. Honestly, I saw it last year. I was like, wow, the Loki composer did that. That's really cool. I was like, no, it's a Star Wars composer that did that. Absolute rebel. Right on the CV. So yeah, and now I hope she knocks this score out of the park. So listen, I'm looking forward to the score, and it's when she did the interview. She goes, "John Williams asked my permission to record the theme." Like, listen, he's being respectful, and no composer on the planet is gonna who's doing Star Wars will say, "No, John Williams,
No, John, no.
I won't let you do."
I've heard you other stuff.
You
It's
a
rubbish.
scrub want to do Star Wars? No. You had your time, old man. But no, you say yes, absolutely yes, every single time.
And I think it just makes me love him even more because he's clearly so respectful of the craft of sort. I guess for a composer, not doing a theme to a series is might be deemed as a blow, but it's John fucking Williams. So yes, that is that. That's going to kind of round out this trailer. I know again we've discussed hype for this. Listen, it's Star Wars month. We've got 3 weeks and a bit until this show first 2 episodes come out. Then we actually have 3 episodes in the first 5 days, 5-6 days. So you put it that way, it's a pretty heavy celebration week. So it's a really good time to be a Star Wars fan. And you know what? I've not said that for a few years. It really, really has been. There's a lot of things happening at the moment that isn't cinema savvy stuff. That is just Star Wars things. We've got so many games in development. We've got loads of shows in development. There's obviously Kenobi coming very soon. Mando season 3. So many other stuff. There's a lot of Star Wars things, and we'll be covering as much as that as we can. Obviously, we can't really cover games on the channel, but there's always been discussions in the past when we've been able to get game conversations in. Dave joined on the Lego Star Wars kind of video we did. But that being said, I want to hear from everyone in the comments. Comment your thoughts on the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer, on the series, everything you're looking forward to, things you're not, things you're maybe concerned about. Put a comment. We'll have a conversation about it. We'll reply to this. And please do hit the subscribe button if you're a fan of Star Wars. This is the place to be. This is Star Wars month. This is our second Star Wars video of the day. We had our massive May the 4th rankings video, as I mentioned earlier. Please do check that out. It's just under 2 hours, but it's got an incredible format. These two both helped out massively with that. Charlie hosted it. Some amazing channels took part and some amazing people. So if you want a fun 2-hour video, people discussing the love they have for Star Wars set and films, characters, everything, check that video out. Honestly, it was so much fun to make. I'm not saying it because it's May the 4th, but that will legitimately be one of the favorite videos I've ever done on this channel. These ranking videos are really tough. They take weeks and months to prep for, but they're so much fun. And so please do check that one out. And as I said, it's Star Wars month. Next up, we have Reboots from Hell. That is the series in which we recast a film that we enjoy. So what makes it hard is that no one ever wants to see that film rebooted in real life. So Dave is joining me and Tate on The Phantom Menace. That video will be up on a Monday, the 9th of May. That was a fun one to do. And Phil is going to be joining us on Revenge of the Sith. So we will have Phil for that. And Sam in the comments will also be joining us on Attack of the Clones. So there's a lot of other Star Wars things happening. We've mentioned that there's going to probably be a predictions video for Kenobi. Me and Tate are working on a tier list video. We'll have more details for you soon. A lot of Star Wars things happening on the channel. It's been absolutely phenomenal getting you guys both back on together. And we had a comment in the ranking video earlier saying reboot Ones of the Force. We're not going to jump to any conclusions, but the chance to do a couple of videos of you guys again recently has been a lot of fun. We've got Star Wars Celebration. We've got Star Wars Celebration this month, so there will be coverage on this channel. Never say never again, but certainly we will have some videos where we'll get the 3 of us back on because listen, it's talking Star Wars. It's fun, and anyone curious, Tate isn't on tonight, and he actually was very polite, saying that he hasn't seen the trailer. So listen, Tate is obviously welcome on his courses. It's his channel as well. And for non-Star Wars stuff, we've got the Steven Spielberg retrospective. To tie it into Star Wars, we had Indiana Jones up on Tuesday, so we got a lovely, lovely George Lucas discussion. Next week is E.T., which is also the first film in which Steven Spielberg had Kathleen Kennedy as a producer. So we also get another Star Wars discussion on that. Neil is joining me on that one. That was a lot of fun to pre-record, and as always, the best way to find out about our videos, what we do, what's upcoming, is getting us on social medias. Twitter at cinema_savvy, Facebook, letterboxd.com/cinema-savvy. I mentioned a Dot Strange review dropped. Technically, it was like 2 a.m. I was awake uploading it. Don't really safe. When we get new reviews, it's fun to cover films, and sometimes we don't know when our own videos are going to go. We literally are told, like, here's an embargo, or the embargo is lifted before you've seen it. So we're very lucky to get opportunities like that, and then those films do drop. So always get us on social medias, and of course, turn notifications on when you subscribe to us on YouTube. There are going to be some other reviews. We've got a Doctor Strange spoiler discussion coming this Friday night live. We're going to have a Moon Knight spoiler discussion at some point this weekend. It was Sunday, but I forgot about the football, so more details will be available on our social media nearer the time. And to get it further, Dave, you've watched the magnificent film tonight, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. There'll be a review on the channel at some point in the next week. There's just a lot of things happening, a lot of multiversal films happening that I'm going to add as well. So much stuff to cover, such short time. But listen, I have a lot of fun doing this, getting everybody on these. Martin says, good night, lads. Thank you. Again, everyone in the comments, thank you for this. Stick around. A lot of Star Wars stuff on the way. To Phil and Dave, both of you coming on tonight. We've still got another 30 minutes left of May the 4th. So do enjoy tonight. Everybody at home, wherever you are, please do. Thank you. Thank you for watching. May the Force be with you until the next time.